Hey folks, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. And hey, I hope everybody enjoyed that last video I posted, and that was the interview with JT from the Game Crafter. I had so much fun recording that interview, just having that conversation with JT. I learned so much about the Game Crafter, and I hope you did too. And usually on the channel, interviews don't perform very well. They don't generate a lot of revenue. And so if you enjoyed that, the whole reason you got to enjoy that is because of Dungeon Dive patrons who let that kind of thing happen. They are the reason that kind of thing can happen on the channel. They are the reason why I don't have to just cover the big 30-box Kickstarter game filled with a million stupid little pieces of plastic. So thank you so much to the Dungeon Dive patrons. If you want to support the channel so I can continue to do things like that and I can continue to focus on smaller games and just things that interest us more as a community, the best way you can do that is to support the Dungeon Dive on the Dungeon Dive Patreon. So speaking of the Game Crafter, today we are taking a look at Mindburners, a Cyber-Occult dungeon runner from Nathan Munier. I believe that's how you pronounce their last name. I believe that they did all of the design and the art. The art in this game is great. This game was provided to the channel by the not the Dungeon Crafter, by the Game Crafter. And you know, it was really great to learn in that interview that when they send me a copy for review, they actually buy a copy and send it to me so that the designers still get paid. The designers don't have to spend any of their own money to send out review copies. And that's pretty amazing. I love that. Let's take a little look at Mindburners here. So this says, prepare to enter the void. Set in a grim world of technology, magic, and dark corruption, Mindburners is a cyber-occult dungeon runner game for 1 to 4 players. As void runners, players must arm themselves with powerful abilities, push their luck to gather energy resources, thwart their opponents, battle nightmarish creatures, and be the first to seal the breach to close the void forever. So Mindburners is probably best played as a competitive game. It's very quick. The competition can get pretty fierce. There is some take that, but it also does play pretty well solo. Now inside my box for Mindburners, I do have one little micro game, and that is called Mindburners Into the Void. And we'll talk a little bit about this game at the end of the video. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with it. I don't particularly enjoy this game, but I do really enjoy the Cyber-Occult dungeon run. And so in the box, you will get everything you need for all 4 of your players, and if you're playing solo. So let's take this stuff out here. Let's dump this out. We get some cubes to keep track of health and victory points and that kind of thing. We will get a D6. We will get 4 meeples so that each of the players can keep track of how far into the void they have progressed. Now this is a run-based, press your luck kind of random occurrence game, random event game with a lot of resource management. So this game does have a lot of the things that I look for. And so in the game, you will have a certain number of ability cards, you will have some void event cards, and you will have some role event cards, along with some cards that you will use to keep track of your health, your energy, and your victory points. And if you're playing competitively, you can go into this overcharge mode, but that is not used when we're playing solo. So for this game, we will set things up, and I will be talking specifically about playing this game as a solo player. And so to start the game, you will take your victory point tracker and your energy and HP tracker, and you will place that to the side or in front of you, whatever is best. Now we do have this deck of ability cards, and these are different abilities that you can spend energy on to trigger during the game. There are some abilities, I believe there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different abilities that are multiplayer, that are for competitive, that are take that. And so when you are playing solo, you do remove those from the deck. So we will not be playing with these because these directly damage other players. And so we won't use those for the solo play. We will use all of our void cards. So this is the dungeon that we are working through. As we work through the dungeon, there are actually 10 different void cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each run, you will be going through the same 10 cards in a different order because you do shuffle them. And in a solo game, you are trying to gain 10 victory points in 6 turns. And you can use the unused tracker cards to keep track of how many turns you've gone. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can use these as a timer. And the different void cards, we have void beacons. These are one of the main ways to get victory points, and there are 2 of those. So it is possible to get up to 2 and a few more victory points on a single run. We have a few cards that can do direct damage to all of the players. So we have a 1 damage card, a 2 damage card, and a 3 damage card, and there are 2 of each of those. So if you encountered every single damage card, you would take, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points of damage. And most of the time, your hero will only have 5 with a maximum of 10 health. So each run, it is possible to completely die in the dungeon. And then we also have these 2 chance matrix cards. And when these are drawn, you turn to the other deck here, and those are the roll events. And these are random things, some good, some bad. You roll one, and then each player will roll a d6 and consult the table on the card to determine the good or bad thing that happens to them. So these get shuffled up, and when you're playing solo, you discard 5 of these, so you never quite know. You know, you might discard all of the good ones, or maybe you might discard a bunch of the bad ones, so you never know what you are going to come up against. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 cards. Those get discarded, and then we will shuffle up the rest here. Okay, I have moved things up a little bit, just so we can get everything on camera. Let me shuffle up these void cards here, because these will be moved through. So I will place those there. Those are the void cards. We will take our roll events, shuffle those up, and then finally we have our deck of abilities. And these are abilities that we can spend energy on, and these will give us special things that we can do on our turn, such as avoiding damage or maybe taking a look at the void cards. So we have a little bit of knowledge, ways to come back from the dead, different types of shields and powers and stuff. So these will get shuffled up. And then like the roll event cards, we will discard 5 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we don't know which 5 abilities we discarded. So we can place those up there. Now, when you start, you will take a red cube to keep track of your health, and we always start at 5 health. We will take a yellow cube to keep track of our energy. We start the game with 5 stored energy, and that is energy that we can spend on our abilities. And then we will also take an orange cube here to keep track of our victory points. We start at 0. We really don't need our cool, chunky, clear plastic, awesome meeples for this, for the solo game, because this is used to keep track when you are playing with multiple players of where the different players are in the dungeon and where they have decided to leave, because this is a press your luck game. So you have to decide if you want to stay in the dungeon, to continue pressing your luck going through the void, and you might bust, you might die, and then you will lose things. Or you can choose when you want to retreat from the void with your stored energy, with your victory points before you die. And then depending on where you are in the void, you will get a certain number of energy back to add to your stored value for the next run. So we don't need these, because when we're playing solo, we're just going to keep track of where we are by how many cards we have drawn. So another thing we do at the beginning of the game is we do draw 3 ability cards to see what our ability cards are for this run. So let's take a look at these. So this is a 2, costs 2 energy, this costs 6 energy, and this costs 0 energy. So this is a thought shield. When you are about to take damage, prevent that damage. That's very, very powerful. We have here see the unseeable. Draw the next 3 void cards and return them in any order, so we can kind of we can take control of the future with this card, and that costs 6 energy. And here we have 0 energy, and during a roll event, you may draw a second roll event and choose which one the group resolves. And these are the roll event cards. Now, some of these ability cards will have a P in a little circle. Those are cards that we can choose to spend before we start our run. Those are preparation cards. Now, I don't have any of those for this run, so we won't have to deal with that. But now we have our choice. we go into the void, or we are a coward and we stay home and we don't get any victory points. Of course, we're going to press our luck with our first turn here. So let's go into the void. We will draw the first void card, and it is a void beacon. All players immediately gain 1 victory point. Okay, so we have gained our victory point. And now if we were playing multiple players, everybody would put their meeple here, and those who would continue on into the void would move their meeple down. But we're just playing solo, so I'll just put a little meeple there because I actually like to use these because they come with the game. And so we gained 1 victory point. Now we could leave, and we could stop pressing our luck, leave with 1 victory point. But one thing we didn't do is we didn't turn over one of these tracker cards. So this is our first turn, and we only have 6 turns to get 10 victory points, and that can be quite difficult. Okay, so let's press on. Let's go ahead and press our luck. Flip this over. We have the Dome Bringer. All players take 3 damage. Okay, so I think I will use my Thought Shield for 2 energy. So take my energy down to 3. When you are about to take damage, prevent that damage. So I prevented the damage from the Doom Bringer. Okay, so now let's continue going. We have, oh no, the Ominous Orb. Take 3 damage. Okay, well, I don't have any way to prevent that, so I will take 3 damage, bringing my HP down to 2. So we've used both of our 3 damage cards. That means that one of these could be a 2 damage, which would kill me. And I do have 1 victory point so far. Let's go ahead and press our luck. And the 2 damage. Okay, so we busted. We lost our health. So we do not get any of these cards converted to energy. If we would have left, we would have received 1 energy for each card we successfully bypassed as stored energy. So I would have gained 3 energy had this not killed me. But I died, I busted. We do keep our victory points. We do lose both of our abilities. If we had chosen to leave, we could have chosen one of these to keep for the next run. So we will reset our energy to 5. We will reset our health to 5. I will take the void cards and shuffle those up. I do gain 3 new abilities for this run. So we have Circuit Upgrade, discard this card to draw 2 more cards. Hey, that's pretty cool. And that's a P ability, so we can use that before we start. If you die this run, you may store the energy you will lose. So this lets us go ahead and do that energy storage even if we die. And a Blood Program, gain 4 HP, and that is 3 energy costs, and that is a card that we will spend during the production phase or during the preparation phase. And you can also spend those when you are in the void. Okay, when you die in the void, you actually don't regain 5 energy. And I can't remember, I think I spent 2 energy. So I'm actually down to 3 energy. So that is one of the bad things that happens when you die, is you don't get to replenish your energy that well. But I think I will go ahead and spend this because this will allow me to draw 2 more cards. So I will draw 1, 2. And now we have Phase Shift, ignore the effects of 1 roll event or void event, and the Armor, which can prevent us from taking damage. Okay, that didn't cost anything. I do have 1 more preparation card for 3 energy. I can gain 4 HP. I think I will go ahead and do that. And so I'm going to start this run with 9 HP, but now I have 0 energy. Okay, let's go into the void. This is our second turn. And let's draw our first void card. All right, 3 damage. Let's see, I'm going to spend this for nothing. Ignore the effects of 1 roll event or void event. Okay, so that was a void event. So I will ignore that damage there. I'm going to press my luck and move on. Okay, Vile Dangler. Vile Dangler, lose 1 HP. So I'm down to 8. I'm pressing on. And the Void Beacon, gain a victory point. So I will gain another victory point there. Pressing on. We have the Chance Matrix, draw a roll event, and then each player rolls the d6 to see what happens. Our first roll event is the Void Shapeshifter. Okay, so I rolled a 1, take 0 damage. I could have taken 2 damage. Okay, I'm going to press on. Another Chance Matrix, what do we have here? We have the Reserve Bunker. Okay, let's see what we find in the Reserve Bunker. We're scrounging around for some materials, and we find 2, draw 1 ability. Now, I don't have any ability cards left, so I will take the ones that I have used. I will shuffle those up and cut that, and I will take 1, and that is a preparation card. and cost 3, and I can gain 4 HP. Now I can use that during the preparation phase, which already happened, or I can use that during this run, but I have 0 energy right now, so that's probably not going to happen. Sometimes in the roll event cards, you can gain energy. Okay, I'm going to press on, and what do we have here? A preserved sentience. All players take 1 damage. Okay, so I'm down to 7 damage, or 7 HP. I will press on. Liquid Mother, all players take 2 damage. 1, 2, and I'm going to press on. Ballistic Corpse, all players take 2 damage. 1, 2. Now I know that one of these is probably the 3 damage card. I only have 3 HP left. I want to be able to store a lot of energy for my next run because I have 0 energy. So instead of pressing my luck, I'm going to return from the void. Okay, so now I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I get 8 energy for this next run. And the 2 cards that were left, there was the 3, so that would have killed me, and 1 victory point. I do have 2 victory points. We will play 1 more run. Give that a shuffle there. Okay, now I can choose to keep one of these. I'm going to keep the Blood Program and discard those, and I get 2 more cards for this run because you always start with 3 abilities. We have See the Unseeable, we've seen that, and we have the Circuit Upgrade. Discard this card and draw 2 more cards. I will go ahead and do that. And so we have Thought Shield and Future Optics. Very cool. Man, I really like the art. I love the color scheme, all the orange and yellow and black. It's super, super cool. I'm going to spend 3 of my 8 energy, bringing me down to 5 to gain 4 HP. So I will start this run with 9 HP again. And we're on our 3rd turn now with 2 victory points. If you go through the whole Void deck, you gain an extra 2 victory points. So that is a way to gain 4 victory points on a single run. And there are also there is at least 1 roll event that gives you victory points as well. All right, let's go. Okay, Liquid Mother 2. I will go ahead and take the 2 damage, pressing on. The Void Beacon, gain another victory point. I'm up to 3 victory points. The Ominous Orb, I'm going to spend 2 energy to prevent that damage using my Thought Shield. Pressing on. 2 damage. Okay, 1, 2. We're down to 5. Pressing on. A Void Beacon. So I'm up to 4 victory points now. I will press on. Vile Danger, take 1. Okay, I can survive a 3 attack. I have 4 HP, so I'm going to press my luck here. And actually, wrong deck. I'm going to press my luck here and 3 damage. Okay, so that brings us down to 1. I think I'm good for this run, so I'm going to retreat. I'm not going to press my luck. I will gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that brings me up to 10 energy for this next run. And then we would continue like that. And I have, 3 more turns to get 6 victory points. As you start gaining more energy, as you start banking more energy for your subsequent runs, you can then use your more powerful abilities. So the gaining of victory points does seem to kind of snowball as the game progresses. But yeah, this game is really cool. I love the art. I love the vibe of this. Is kind of a cult techno vibe is super, super cool. I think the art is great. I would love to see kind of a more dungeon crawly version, kind of a Quest for the Lost Pixel version of this game set in this world. I think that would be super cool. And I think this game really would shine when you are playing it with other players because of those ability cards where you can directly impact those other players, steal a card at random, force all other players to leave the void, prevent another player's ability from taking effect. So there's all kinds of really cool take that cards that you can use on the other players. And then each of the players having to make their choice whether or not to press their luck and go into the void to continue on would make for, I think, some tense gameplay moments. And so that is a look at Mindburners. I do recommend this. I think this game is cool. It's not very expensive. I think it's around $25 or so. I'll put the price on the video now. But I also, when I got that, I also requested a copy of the kind of small micro version of this game. I thought it was going to be a micro version of this game. And because I thought maybe I could put this in my little travel box that we just took a look at. You know, my 8 cards, 8 small crawls in one small box. But this really isn't a micro version of this game. This is a kind of completely different style of game. Now, some of you may like this game. I am not super into this. It is quite simple and it's elegant, and I love the look. Again, I love Nathan's art is just really, really cool. But all of the rules for this game are printed on the box here. And this is a drafting game. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So this is like your typical kind of 18 card mini game. And we have all of these cards here with different suits and different symbols and different abilities. And this is a drafting game where you are playing with 2 players, and there are some rudimentary solo rules so you can kind of play against an AI. But it's a drafting kind of set collection and then min-maxing game, combining different icons and different positions of cards to gain a number of points. And whoever has the most points after 2 rounds of drafting wins the game. Now, I'm just not very good at these because at the end of each game or the end of each round, you will end up with 5 cards, and this is what you want to score. If I was playing and using my brain, which isn't very good at combining things to min-max to gain the most points, you know, I might be able to score 20 or 30 points from these 5 cards. If I handed these 5 cards to a buddy of mine who's very good at these kinds of games, he would like score 100 points and completely dwarf my score with the same cards just because he is much better at looking at how things work together. But in these games, you will have a point total, you will have some icons, you will have a card ability, and that will give you certain points depending on certain positioning, where they are on your position track. And then once you have laid your 5 cards down in front of you, once you have drafted everything, then each player will choose to equip 2 of these cards as kind of a cybernetic implant, which will then give them additional bonuses. So it's just not really my kind of game. It's a drafting game. It's a score chasing. It's a min-max game. It's kind of a spatial kind of puzzle game where you need to think about how these cards are organized. And I'm just not very good at those kinds of games, and I don't have a lot of fun playing them. However, if you like those kinds of games, I think this is a pretty good one. And again, the art, the theme is super, super cool. I would love to see this art and this kind of stuff, these kind of iconography and this neat kind of cyber-occult techno look used in a somewhat larger game, not a huge game. But yeah, so that was just a really, really brief look at Mindburners. I'm not going to go through how to play it just because it's just really not my kind of game. I would probably just make a bunch of mistakes, but just know it's set collection, it's and drafting and competitive. But Mindburners is super cool, and I really do enjoy this game. I've had a lot of fun playing this game over the last few days. So, all right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this look at Mindburners, at the Mindburners universe, the Mindburners expanded world here. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.